In 2014, the Home Secretary Theresa May proposed the legislation which says that when foreign students complete their education in Britain, they must immediately leave the country. This means that they would only be able to apply for a work visa in the UK once they had returned to their home country. This legislation has caused an uproar within Britain, with industry professionals saying that it might actually put off students from coming into the country altogether. The economy will also take a considerable downfall, with foreign students bringing in lots of money. For example, in 2013 alone, they brought in over £4 billion. Some of the facts about this reform include: the only people to actually be affected by this legislation from a student point of view is the non-EU students, as EU are exempt from this proposal. So the logistics of the plan will be to change the current staying time for students from 4 months to no time at all. This would be disastrous for a lot of universities across the country, as it has been predicted that around 30 to 40% of students in the UK are from non-EU countries. Theresa May has specifically said that if there are any colleges/universities that do not participate in this legislation, then they will be penalised by depriving them from their right to sponsor overseas students. Lastly, Theresa May has actually been quoted in saying, "A move towards zero net and student migration," which clearly shows her standpoint on this issue. We will now go to an interview with a foreign student, Srijith, who will tell us about his opinion on the proposal.
To be fair, my plan is not to stay here. Personally, after my course is done, I would like to go back to my country and work there. But I know many other students, many other international students who come here to study, and they are hoping to get a job as soon as their course is done. If this law is passed, I don't think that any student from another country will want to come here and study, because as we all do, after the course we look for a job. If you're not going to get it, what's the point? I mean, if this argument that's going on, if this case that's going on was going on while I was coming here, I wouldn't come here, to be fair.
So as we can see from this interview, foreign students are not happy with the idea at all. Srijith also explains how he thinks that if UK Parliament were to actually create and pass this law, this would actually put people off from coming to the UK to seek higher education. This links to the point that I made earlier about the industry professionals talking about non-EU students being put off from studying here. Next up, we have an interview with the local Labour MP for Middlesbrough, Andrew MacDonald, in which he talks about what he thinks the effect of this proposed law will be.
I'm Andy MacDonald, Member of Parliament for Middlesbrough. Well, I think it's a very dangerous step. I think what's happening is that our current government is confusing some issues. There's a determination to be seen to be strong on the issue of immigration, which I can fully understand. It's essential that we have strong borders. It's essential that they're managed properly. But there's good immigration that this country needs, and at the moment what's happening is that students from overseas are being hampered from coming here in the first place. It's quite difficult for students to come here, and I know from personal experience that in terms of the Chinese market, a lot of the Chinese students are now looking elsewhere because it is much easier for them to gain access to American universities and other European universities. So we're losing out there by making it more difficult than it need be. We need to rebalance our economy. It's imperative that we attract engineers and other scientists to come here, because we've got a job to do in terms of growing our economy. We must train and educate our indigenous population, undoubtedly, but that's not going to be the totality of the solution. Good immigration is going to be part of it as well.
So there we have it. We found what a Member of Parliament thinks about the proposal, and we can safely say that he isn't a fan of it either. I think what we can take away from today is that the legislation that the Home Secretary is trying to push is really in everybody's best interests, especially those of the other Members of Parliament, industry professionals and foreign students.